Welcome back to Kimchi Rednecks. We're in the kitchen doing stuff.
Making japchae.
Yes.
What is japchae, Chuck?
It is a Korean dish.
Japchae is a Korean side dish. Actually, it can be a side dish, I think, and it can be a main dish. I've seen people talk about serving it also as a main dish. But it is made with Dangmyeon noodles, which are sweet potato noodles. The style we typically prefer is the vermicelli because they're smaller. But typically if you're putting these in a dish, a lot of times you'll have to pre-soak them, but because we're boiling them, we're not pre-soaking today. So it has your noodles, it has veg like carrot and onion and bell pepper and mushroom, and then typically some type of meat, unless you're making a vegetarian style. You can do pork or you can do steak. We are doing beef today, so.
Because beef.
Yes. So we're gonna get our meat cut up so we can marinate that. We're going between two different recipes today because I like things from both. You know how that works for me. So we're gonna see how that works.
You said it was like 2-inch.
Yes, two and a half.
All right, so that should be.
Yeah. So let's put together our marinade for our beef because we're pre-marinating. We're gonna do 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, which I already measured out because I'm running low on soy sauce today. Go figure. And then we need 1 tablespoon of sugar. I really need to start just pre-measuring out everything, but it makes such a mess in my kitchen. And then I have to clean it up. Not a fan. A 1/2 tablespoon of sesame oil. A 1/2 tablespoon of mirin. And then 1 chopped clove of garlic. So that's going to be a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic.
Might take a few minutes.
Chuck has been cooking doing all of our prep work with all the chopping. He still has bell pepper and green onion to go.
I guess.
He's my own sous chef. He doesn't even know.
So now that we've got some more chopping done.
We are heating up 5 cups of water set to boiling. I went ahead and put our noodles in just because I don't like to stick my hand in boiling water.
Not generally,
Yeah.
no.
So I'm going to heat them all up at the same time.
Are we on? Yeah,
We're on. Yeah. We have a little bit of gas left in this can, so we're trying to use that up. So this might take a few minutes. Okay, so when you're cooking Dangmyeon noodles, which are your sweet potato noodles, it depends on whether you have the bigger ones like linguine or you have the vermicelli. So depending on your noodle is dependent upon how long you're going to cook it. One of the recipes that I looked at said 8 to 10 minutes. One said 6 to 8 minutes. We haven't been boiling that long, and I'm pretty sure ours are pretty much done, and I think we're about 5 minutes. But we have vermicelli. But basically, you want your noodles to be translucent and soft, and these are really soft and definitely translucent. So we definitely don't want to overcook them. Texture-wise, I think they're done. What do you think, Chuck?
That looks about right.
You want me to pull one? Works for me. How about you? You're the picky one on this. I think it's done.
Yep, I think that'll work.
Okay. All right, so we're not showing you this part, but I'm about to take them off of the heat. I'm going to strain them and run cold water over them. So that's our next step. All right, so now we are going to start putting our sauce together since our noodles are done. We have drained them, strained them. They're nice and bouncy. So Chuck should have no problem with that. So we've got 3½ tables of soy sauce.
Tables, whole tables, like dining room tables. Tablespoons.
He forgets that I'm tired sometimes. Chuck, making fun of your wife is really not a good idea, especially when she's tired. 3 tablespoons of sugar. I can't even cut that out. I have to leave that in there now. Thanks, Chuck. You could also have used brown sugar. Some recipes I've seen actually use honey, so it's basically your choice on that. Then we want 2 tablespoons of sesame oil, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of roasted sesame seeds. All right, Chuck, it's black pepper to taste. How much black pepper would you like?
Go with that for now.
Okay.
It's a complete wild guess, but we'll figure it out.
Then I'm just going to mix this all up. And while I'm doing such, I'm going to grab our scissors because we need to cut our Japchae noodles. So use our kitchen shears and we'll cut those up into more bite-sized pieces because you don't want them too long. So let's make sure we're good on that.
So as we get the overhead view on that.
That's not bad. Acceptable?
Yeah, it looks all right.
You don't want like the 10-foot long piece of spaghetti.
And then we got our sauce over here that you can't see from the big camera.
Sauce.
Ah.
And now we're going to put 3 tablespoons of this sauce in here with our noodles. Sesame seeds stuck to my spoon. And then I'm just going to mix those real quick so that they are coated.
So at this point, if you're looking at these squiggly, clear looking noodles with their little sauce on them, you're thinking, there's no way that's going to be appetizing. You're not the only one, because
Chuck didn't think they'd be appetizing.
It doesn't honestly look good to me at this point either. The finished dish is all right, but at this point in this stage, it just don't look right.
All right, so put 2 cups of water in here. And then we're going to blanch our spinach real quick. All right, so we're blanching our spinach, which means...
Just enough for it to start wilting.
But I'm doing this in stages because I do not want to try and get all of it out at one time.
As I was saying, normally something like this is done in a deeper pot with like more water, so you can use a little spider scoop to get it out. But
we're trying to go with one pan.
We're trying not to destroy the entire kitchen. It's almost ready.
So what, about a minute or 2? And this is going to end up being 6 ounces of spinach that we're using.
You just got to remember it's going to continue to cook and wilt a little more after you pull it out until you get it
under cold water.
Under cold water, so when you think it's almost ready, it's probably about the time to pull it out. So yeah, let's go ahead and pull it.
I was going to say, because you know it's not immediately going under the cold water.
Yeah. So here's a stage they probably don't normally show you. But after you boil the spinach...
You squeeze the spinach.
By the way, we went with baby spinach because...
That's what we had.
A, we like the taste of baby spinach more, and...
It looked better.
B, it looked better than our full spinach offering, so... do your best to squeeze as much of the liquid out as possible. And Then you take it back over and run the knife through a little bit to get some, cut it into shreds.
I think we're there.
So, I know that looks so appealing at the moment.
Yeah, and my hand's gonna smell great.
So, where are we at? What do we got?
We're gonna put your 2 eggs and lightly beat them. Now, there are 2 ways that people do the egg. You can either separate the yolk and the egg white and fry them each differently, so you've got the white and the yellow.
Which apparently there's some sort of, what was it, like symbolic thing or something
Yeah.
behind that?
We'll be honest on that one. That's extra time, and it's already kind of a pain to have to do all the other steps.
If you've ever tried to YouTube cooking something or film cooking something, it takes like 3 times longer to do everything.
To be fair, we probably would consider it if we didn't have to fry all of these other veggies and meats and everything separately.
Yeah.
But apparently, as I researched, there are 2 schools of thought. One school is it doesn't make a difference. The other school says that if you fry them all separately, the flavors of each of the vegetables come out more so that when you combine it, it tastes better. So we're going with the original. We're gonna do flavors combined. All right, so I put 1 teaspoon of oil in there. I'm gonna guess you want this on kind of a low, right?
Yeah, about a medium low.
And we're gonna try and get this oil.
I just leave it on there a minute, it'll spread. So for the eggs, we've got it lightly beaten, but not like thoroughly beaten.
You don't want to get it super fluffy.
So there's still some strands of egg white and some little clumps of egg yolk, but it's moderately mixed together.
Are you gonna want this?
Yes. The best spatula ever.
I feel like you've said that before.
And I
Maybe.
will probably say it again.
Repeatedly. So, we don't know if there's a difference in japchae if you stir fry all your veg together. We really don't know that. However, for the first time making it, since this is actually our first time ever making it, I figured we'd go with just stir frying everything separately and then combining it all at the end and
Try to be somewhat more authentic.
yeah. Oh, and for our spinach here, just a sprinkle of salt on there. So he did cut that. You didn't get to see that on camera, but he did cut that.
Yeah, we squeezed the water out over there, and then we brought it over here and we pressed it with some paper towels to try and get some more juice out of it, because you want them to be damp but moderately dry, if that makes sense. And then you add
Just a little bit of salt.
a little bit of salt to it, and that's it.
Yep. So the reason we're doing this first is because since we're doing all in one pan, also because this has to be cooled. So the goal is to do this first because this is the first thing that'll go in the pan, and it doesn't usually make that much of a mess to have to clean up afterwards.
Come on, trying to stick on me.
Trying to make a mess on you, isn't it?
Trying to. I got a little fold in it. Oh well, we got a little fold in it.
We don't really care that much about the fold. We're gonna fold the egg when we cut it anyways. Right?
True. You roll it and cut it into strips, so it's not really going to matter.
This literally takes all of about maybe 1 minute to 2 minutes to cook.
Getting a little bit of brown on the bottom side. I got to change hands. I'm not left-handed enough to...
I think you're done.
Yep.
I don't know where you want this plate.
Just giving it a couple seconds to get a little extra color on the bottom. Oh yeah, the oil's already running. That's good and warm.
And you're gonna saute them about 4 to 5 minutes.
So this is one whole onion, pretty thinly sliced.
Yep. And season with a little bit of salt.
We're just doing these till they get translucent, right?
She says saute 4 to 5 minutes. All right, so we've got our onions. They're a little bit brown, but translucent, and that was the goal. Next, we're going with our bell pepper.
Might have a little too much oil.
Add just a little bit of salt onto those. Did you add too much oil, Dave?
A little bit. You said salt?
A little bit of salt, yeah. Got our meat over here. It's nicely marinating. All right, those are going to be sauteed for about 1 minute. You want to keep your onions and your bell pepper warm, so these cook up relatively quickly. This shouldn't take much time at all. All right, so bell pepper is done. Next for the carrots.
I got a little oil left over for the carrot.
Of course you do. And the carrots are going to go for about 2 to 3 minutes. And since we've got our carrots done, by the way, you put just a little bit of salt on almost all of these veggies. So if I don't say put salt on it, just know, put some salt on there.
Just a little bit now.
Yeah, just a sprinkle, just a touch. All right, so next is going to be these little scallions here.
Do I need any oil for scallions?
I don't think you're going to need any oil because
there's not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot of them. And those are literally going to take about 2 seconds. So
yeah, we didn't have a lot of scallions in the fridge, so.
Yeah, and I forgot to grab them at the store. Also, good news is we didn't want that much oil in the pan for when we do the mushrooms, so this will use up the oil. Okay. So don't overcook that, Chuck. That's a little wilty. I think that's good. Okay, next we're putting in our mushrooms.
So we got a lovely mixture of both shiitake and button mushrooms in here.
All right, so just in case I haven't said, we've got about 3 ounces of carrot, a medium onion, it's about 2 scallions-ish, and 1 red bell pepper. The beef is 4 ounces of beef, the spinach was 6 ounces, the Dangmyeon noodles is 7 ounces, and it's probably about 3 to 4 ounces of mushrooms, maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more.
I don't know, maybe. I think I used 2 full-size shiitake cups and 3 or 4 button mushrooms.
Yeah, we like mushrooms. All right, so we're sauteing those. We'll put a little salt on those, Chuck. All right, Chuck, let's get our noodles.
Noodles.
With a little bit of oil.
A little bit of oil.
Get the noodles in there, and we will stir fry those for a couple minutes. And then put them directly back into the bowl.
All them noodles?
All them noodles. Get the one stick. Yeah, they really did want to stick, didn't they?
Yeah, they started sticking immediately to that pan.
That just means we had them done well. All right, so now we are going to add about a little bit more oil to the pan. And then put your beef in. The beef is going to get cooked about 2 to 5 minutes. But we're also going to add our mushrooms back in as well as some of the sauce. You want to go ahead and put mushrooms in?
Let's wait till the meat's closer to done for the mushrooms.
Put a little more sauce in. So one recipe that I'm using is from Korean bop song. The other is from Sungkyung Longest. One recipe does not pre-marinate the meat, the other does. So they both do things a little bit differently, but I really kind of wanted the meat to have a little extra flavor, so I pre-marinated. That was just a choice I made.
Okay, so that's looking closer to done. Mushrooms!
Those mushrooms, they were cooking, but they were also looking a little wilty, so we wanted to put them back in with the beef to get a little more liquid in them, and also put a little sauce back in as well. So here's a little more sauce.
All right, so we're back on the big camera from our close-up view.
We made some decisions.
So we're moving kind of quick here. So we're gonna mix
All of our veg
back into the pan with the meat and the mushrooms and everything, since they're all ready to go. We're going to get that mixed up. Ha! This is when the ability to do the skillet flip comes in clutch. All right, and then we are going to mix all that junk into this big old bowl.
with the rest of the sauce.
With the rest of the sauce. Ready?
Yep, that's why I'm putting my gloves on.
You might want a double glove. That's going to be warm.
Oh, I'm going to give it a second. I'm going to use a spatula for a second there. And you get to start cutting the egg.
Yes.
So, I'm not using my hands yet because it is really, really hot. But also, I need to kind of incorporate some of this together. But I'm going to add the rest of the sauce now.
Yeah, while she's doing that, I've got our egg, which has been cooling down. I'm going to roll that bad boy up a little bit. And now, we just cut ribbons. We go before the good final plate shot. This is the Japchae in the bowl.
And it is hot.
Well, it just came out of skillets.
Yeah, it's really hot. You could probably let it cool down a little bit, but I want to make sure everything mixes really well. So I have used a combination of methods here. I have used my hands as well as mixing with the spatula there.
We got our egg ribbons cut up that'll go on top.
All right.
But yeah, here we go. Extreme close-up of the plate.
All right, so we had to take a minute to get everything in the put away stage.
Ish.
Onions, or carrots, beef, egg, get some noodles.
Not as much.
Okay, so I probably could have cooked the carrots a little bit longer.
I like them that way. Okay, so the noodles have such good flavor to them, don't they? I'm glad I marinated the beef, because that beef has just a really good flavor to it.
So we haven't mentioned it before with these Dangmyeon noodles. You got to make sure you cook them enough before when they're in the hot water, because a lot of times you'll see where places don't cook them quite long enough, and then they cool them down, and then they cook them into a recipe, and they're very chewy.
And some recipes require you to actually soak them ahead of time. This one did not, because we were boiling for a few minutes.
But I have gotten Japchae before where you couldn't bite through these noodles. You had to cut it into bite-sized things with the scissors.
Grab our Dangmyeon. I actually want to try that one cold.
So you guys may have seen this video at this point.
If not, look up here.
Here somewhere. But we made a fried tofu dish called Dangmyeon. Ah. Got oil on my hands.
So you can eat this right after you make it, which would still be warm. When I had it, the time I had it, it was cold and it was really good. So this is cold. And
It's actually easier to cut while it's cold.
It's still really good.
That is good flavor. It's a different texture too when it's cold. The fried tofu has more of a, almost like that cheese thing we get at the Indian place, that paneer.
Paneer.
It's almost like a paneer cheese in texture.
It's good. And having sat in the fridge for a day or so, it's pulled in a little extra
soaked
flavor.
in the flavor, yeah.
So if you don't want it to soak in extra flavor, eat it all that night you make it. But.
And it's tofu, it's mildly healthy, so you can eat it all and not feel stupid.
Hey, this is actually ish healthy.
I mean, aside from having to add a little bit of oil with like
Everything
to get the kid to get it fried, but
the noodles are healthier for you than regular noodles.
yeah, we got spinach, we got eggs, we got
Beef,
mushrooms, carrots.
peppers, onions.
So all this stuff is relatively healthy.
I mean, we did stir fry it, but
Well, I mean, all the ingredients are healthy. So anyway, Korean food, it's good. Cook some.
make some japchae tonight. Yeah.
So that's it for us. Like, subscribe, do the internet stuff. See the buy us a coffee link below so we can buy more Dangmyeon noodles. And we'll see y'all around.